All right, buckle up, word nerds. We're diving deep into vocabulary building today. But not just any old way.
Yeah, none of that dry dictionary stuff.
We've got this super cool conversation. It's between these two people named Emma and Jake. They're on this quest to seriously upgrade their vocab.
And the coolest part is they're not just like memorizing lists.
Right. They're actually using these new words out in the wild.
Putting them into practice.
At the coffee shop, at the park, even while shopping. I mean, talk about making it stick.
Totally. You learn so much faster by doing it.
It's like that saying, right? Use it or lose it. Okay, so scene one, a bustling coffee shop where Emma and Jake are about to kick off their vocabulary adventure.
First word they tackle is articulate, which is kind of ironic.
How so?
Well, because so many people want to be articulate, but if you ask them what it actually means...
Oh, I see what you mean.
They probably couldn't give you a clear definition.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just kind of know when you hear it.
But Emma nails it in the conversation.
Lay it on us.
So she says, being articulate means expressing yourself really clearly and effectively. It's about getting your point across.
Okay, so it's more than just having a big vocabulary.
Much more. It's about using those words in a way that people understand.
And even find engaging, I bet.
Definitely. And Jake has this great example. He says, like, in that debate, the winner was hands down the most articulate speaker.
Makes sense. Being articulate can give you a serious edge, especially when you need to win people over.
Huge advantage in those situations. Job interviews, presentations, even just winning an argument.
Oh yeah, like when you're trying to convince your friend to see the movie you want to see.
Exactly. Okay, word number 2. Benevolent.
Ooh, benevolent. I like the sound of that. What's it all about?
Basically, it means kind and generous, but there's a bit more to it.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me the details.
It implies you're doing good for others just because you want to, not because you're getting something out of it.
Like pure kindness.
Exactly. Emma mentions her grandma is benevolent because she's always donating to charity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But hold on. Does that mean every nice thing you do is automatically benevolent?
That's a great question. I mean, holding the door open for someone is nice, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're a saint.
Right. So true. It makes you wonder how much true benevolence is actually out there.
Right. It's probably rarer than we think.
Okay, on to word number 3. This one's favorite of mine, candid. It just oozes authenticity.
It does, and there's a reason for that. Candid photos capture those genuine, unposed moments, and that realness carries over to the word itself.
So basically honest and straightforward, even if it might ruffle some feathers.
Exactly. Like Emma says Jake gave her his candid opinion about her new haircut.
Ouch, so probably no sugarcoating there.
Probably not. And then Jake says he prefers candid conversations to all that small talk.
Oh, I feel that.
Right.
Who has time for shallow chit-chat when you can have deep, meaningful conversations?
Right. Okay, next word coming at you. Diligent.
Diligent. Okay, I'm picturing someone hardworking, dedicated, like they're not messing around.
Yeah. You got it. They're all about getting things done.
Like a machine. So what kind of examples do they have for diligent?
Emma describes a diligent student as someone who hits the books every single day.
No slacking allowed.
And then Jake's like, I gotta be diligent if I want to learn all 30 words today, which, considering their speed round later, he totally does.
Yeah, sure. But it's a good reminder for all of us. If we want to reach our goals, we got to put in the work.
No shortcuts to success.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, next word on our list. Eloquent. It sounds so smooth and sophisticated.
It totally does. Eloquent is all about expressing yourself with grace, fluency, and a touch of persuasion.
So picture someone who can captivate a room with their words.
Yes. Whether they're speaking or writing, they just have a way with words.
What kind of examples did Emma and Jake come up with for this one?
Well, Jake talks about a politician who gave this incredibly eloquent speech that moved everyone.
So eloquence is often linked to public speaking, right? Like those speakers who can really fire up a crowd.
Definitely. But it's not just for big stages. Emma mentions her friend who's an eloquent storyteller. She can hold everyone's attention at a party.
So even in casual settings, eloquence can really make you stand out.
Absolutely. It's all about choosing your words carefully.
And weaving them together to create something captivating. Okay, on to a word that I think a lot of us are trying to be better at. Frugal.
Especially with prices going up, up, up.
Tell me about it. So remind us, what's the essence of being frugal?
It's about being careful with your money and resources, making wise choices, and not wasting anything.
Basically getting the most bang for your buck.
Exactly. Jake says, my dad is so frugal, he always finds a coupon or discount before buying anything.
Sounds like a classic frugal move. But Emma brings up a really important point. Being frugal isn't about being cheap.
Right? It's about being smart with your money.
There's a big difference there.
Huge difference.
Frugality is being resourceful and thoughtful about spending. It's not about depriving yourself or being stingy.
It's about living within your means and making sure your money lasts.
So how do you strike that balance between being frugal and not, being that person?
Planning is key. Make a budget, track your spending, set some financial goals, and don't forget to compare prices.
Solid advice. Okay, next up, a word that might make some people cringe. Gregarious.
Yeah, some people love it, some people not so much.
So for those who aren't familiar, paint us a picture of a gregarious person.
Okay, imagine the life of the party. The social butterfly flitting from group to group, making friends wherever they go.
Full disclosure, that is so not me. I'm more of a quiet observer type. But Emma, she seems like the epitome of gregarious.
Really? What makes you say that?
Well, she says, my sister is so gregarious, she can strike up a conversation with anyone.
Wow, sounds like she thrives in social settings.
Totally. But interestingly, Jake says he's actually not that gregarious.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, he prefers smaller gatherings and quiet spaces, which I totally relate to.
That's so interesting how we all have different comfort levels when it comes to socializing.
Right. There's no right or wrong way to be.
Exactly. Embrace your own personality. Okay, let's move on to a word that carries some serious weight. Indispensable.
Indispensable. So we're talking about the essentials, the things you absolutely cannot live without.
Absolutely. Jake kicks things off with a pretty relatable one. He says, coffee is indispensable for me every morning.
Oh, preach. I'm right there with you.
But then Emma takes it to another level. She says, a smartphone has become an indispensable tool for daily life.
It's kind of scary how true that is. We rely on these gadgets for everything.
I know, right? But it brings up an interesting question for our listeners. What are your indispensable items or habits? The things you just couldn't function without.
Ooh, I love that. It's a good one to ponder. And don't just think about material things.
Right, it could be your morning routine, your favorite book, or even a particular mindset.
Okay, up next, a word that can make us feel like we're on the outside looking in. Jargon.
Jargon. The secret language of specific fields.
It's like they're speaking in code.
Totally. Emma shares a classic example. Doctors use so much medical jargon, I can never understand what they're saying.
Ugh. Don't get me started on medical jargon. And Jake chimes in with, tech people are notorious for their jargon. It's so confusing.
Oh, for sure. It can be a real barrier to understanding if you're not in the know.
But wait, is jargon just about sounding smart?
Not necessarily. It actually serves a purpose. It lets experts communicate super precisely and efficiently.
Just like a shortcut for them.
Exactly. It's a shared code that helps them get their ideas across quickly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just a shame we're not always privy to that code.
Well, maybe after this deep dive, we'll be a little more fluent in some of those secret languages.
I like the sound of that.
You know, it's funny. Jargon can make you feel like such an outsider, even if you're usually pretty on top of things. But anyway, let's switch gears.
Okay, I'm game. Where are we headed next?
How about some words that are all about precision and detail? Think you can handle that?
Bring it on. I'm ready to get meticulous.
Knew you were going to say that. So meticulous, it's about being super careful and precise.
Leaving no room for error, like those people who color code their calendars.
Exactly. Jake uses the example of an artist who spends hours perfecting a single brushstroke.
Wow, that's dedication.
Right. But Emma brings it back down to earth with her example. She's so meticulous about organizing her books by color.
So you don't have to be an artist to be meticulous.
Nope, it's an approach you can take to pretty much anything.
It's like some people are okay with good enough, but meticulous people are all about striving for perfection.
Always got to go the extra mile.
Okay, next word up. Nostalgic. This one's a bit of a heartstring tugger.
It is that bittersweet longing for the past, mixed with those warm, fuzzy memories.
Makes you want to curl up with a photo album and reminisce about the good old days.
So true. Emma says, I always get so nostalgic when I hear old songs.
Music is such a powerful trigger for memories.
Absolutely. And Jake adds, seeing old pictures makes me super nostalgic too.
Yeah, visual cues can transport you right back in time.
It's like a time machine in your brain.
It makes you wonder, though, why are we so drawn to the past? Even though we know we can't go back.
It's an interesting question, isn't it? I think nostalgia helps us connect with our past selves.
Makes sense. Like a reminder of who we are and how we got here.
Exactly. Okay, from the past to, well, still the past, but in a different way. How about the word pristine?
Pristine. Okay, I'm getting a sense of purity, like something untouched and perfect.
Nailed it. Pristine means something is perfectly clean, untouched, like in its original condition.
Like a brand new car before anyone's even sat in it.
Perfect example. And Jake says, the beach was pristine with crystal clear water and no footprints in the sand.
Ooh, now that's a mental image I can get behind. Sounds super peaceful.
Right. And Emma, being the neat freak she is, says, I love keeping my room pristine.
Gotta admire that dedication to cleanliness. I'm more of an organized chaos kind of person.
We all have our preferences, right? Okay, time for a word that's all about bouncing back from setbacks. Resilient.
Resilient. So we're talking about that inner strength that helps you overcome challenges.
Precisely, like an internal shock absorber for life's ups and downs.
You gotta have resilience to make it in this world. What were some of Emma and Jake's insights on this one?
Well, Emma says a resilient person never gives up no matter what.
True that. You got to keep pushing forward even when things get tough.
And Jake is a great example of resilience in action. After failing the test, he was resilient and studied even harder for the next one.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about learning from it and coming back stronger.
Exactly. It's all about growth. Okay, ready for a word that brings a sense of peace and tranquility?
Hit me with it. I could use some of that right about now.
How about serene? Imagine a calm lake on a still day. That peaceful stillness. Pure quietude.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds amazing. What examples did Em and Jake have?
Well, Jake says, the lake looks so serene in the morning before the crowds show up.
Definitely getting those tranquil vibes now.
And Emma adds, meditation makes me feel so serene.
So serenity isn't just about finding a peaceful place. It's about cultivating inner peace.
That's the key. Okay, get ready. It's time for the grand finale.
The speed round. Bring it on. I'm feeling energized now.
Okay, 10 words coming at you fast. First up, tenacious. Picture someone who never gives up, no matter the obstacle.
Like a dog with a bone.
Perfect analogy. Jake says, a tenacious athlete never quits, even when injured.
Yeah, it's about having that grit, that refusal to back down.
Next, unwavering. Think strong, steady, unyielding, like a mountain in a storm.
Unbreakable. And what example did they use for this one?
Jake says, his unwavering confidence inspired me to take a risk.
So it's about believing in yourself even when doubts creep in.
Absolutely. Okay, on to versatile. This one's about being adaptable, able to handle different situations.
Like a Swiss Army knife of skills.
Yes. Emma says, a versatile musician can play multiple instruments and styles.
So it's about having a wide range and being able to apply your skills in different ways.
Exactly. Next up, a word that's all about playfulness and imagination. Whimsical.
Ooh, I like that one. Sounds magical.
It is. Jake says, that children's book was so whimsical, it transported me back to my childhood.
It's about tapping into that childlike sense of wonder.
Absolutely. Okay, now for a word that's full of passion and energy. Zealous.
Zealous. It sounds intense. In a good way.
It is. Jake says he's so zealous about photography, he spends all weekend exploring and taking pictures.
So it's about having that fire in your belly, that drive that keeps you going.
You got it. Next up, we're entering the realm of luxury and extravagance with opulent.
Opulent. I'm already picturing a fancy mansion with gold everything.
Not far off. Emma describes an opulent hotel with over-the-top decor and a super luxurious vibe.
So it's about that sense of grandeur and richness.
Exactly. Now for a word that screams perfection.
Yeah.
Impeccable.
Impeccable. So we're talking about something flawless, with no room for improvement, like impeccable taste or impeccable timing.
Great examples. And Emma says she has impeccable manners, always so polite and considerate.
Yeah, it's about exhibiting grace and a keen sense of etiquette.
Spot on. Okay, 2 more words to go. Next up is profound. This one's about depth and meaning.
Profound, so like an idea that really makes you think and see things differently.
Exactly. Jake says, that professor's lecture was so profound, it really changed my perspective.
So it's about encountering ideas that stick with you long after you've heard them.
Words to live by. And last but not least, a word we can probably all relate to.
Perplexed.
Perplexed. I'm feeling that right now.
Fair enough. Perplexed describes that feeling of confusion when you just can't wrap your head around something.
Like trying to solve a riddle that makes no sense.
Perfect example. Jake says, I was totally perplexed by that escape room puzzle.
Oh, escape rooms can definitely leave you feeling perplexed. For sure. And with that, Emma and Jake have conquered their vocabulary challenge, adding 30 new words to their repertoire.
Wow, what a ride. I feel like my brain just got a serious workout. All those new words, it's incredible.
Right. It's a pretty impressive collection, but the real test is actually using them.
You mean not just letting them sit in our brains, gathering dust?
Exactly. What's the point of having all these fancy words if we never let them see the light of day?
Totally agree. It's like having a brand new sports car and leaving it in the garage.
Perfect analogy. We got to get these words out on the open road, you know? Let them do their thing.
So how do we do that without sounding like, I don't know, like we're trying too hard?
Well, one trick is to pick a couple of new words each day and consciously try to use them.
Okay, so like a mini vocabulary challenge for ourselves.
Exactly. Work them into conversations, emails, even social media posts.
I like it. It's like a workout for our vocabulary muscles.
And the more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Like you won't even have to think about it. They'll just roll off the tongue.
Exactly. Another tip, make yourself a little word bank or glossary.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Like a personalized dictionary.
Right. Write down the words that resonate with you. Add the definition, maybe some example sentences.
That way we can easily refer back to them when we need a refresher.
Exactly. And don't forget those good old-fashioned flashcards.
Oh yeah, flashcards can be a lifesaver, especially when you're first learning new words.
They help solidify those connections in your brain. And of course, you can always use online vocabulary builders too.
There are tons of great resources out there these days. And hey, don't forget about the power of reading.
Oh, absolutely. Reading is like a vocabulary goldmine.
You're exposed to so many new words and you see how they're used in context.
It's like a masterclass in language.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the wonderful world of words, what's the key takeaway?
Expanding your vocabulary is a journey, not a destination.
And it's not just about memorizing definitions.
It's about actively using these words, making them part of your everyday life.
And remember, language is always changing, always evolving.
There are new words popping up all the time.
So keep your ears open, keep learning, and keep exploring the amazing world of language.
You never know what linguistic gems you might uncover.